Hello ladies and gentlemen, Scared4 here bringing you another Minecraft World War II BAFTA build tutorial. In this tutorial, we'll be going ahead and building Japanese cruiser Myoko. IJN Myoko was a lead ship of a 4-member Myoko class of heavy cruisers for the Imperial Japanese Navy, which were active in World War II. She was named after Mount Myoko in Niigata Prefecture. The other ships of the class were Nachi, Ashigara, and Hergoru. The ship itself served throughout the entire war and actually was the only ship of the class to actually survive the war. She was badly damaged in an attack and was deemed to be irreparable at the Japanese frontline ports. The ship basically laid in port and was served as a anti-aircraft basically battery platform to protect the harbor. Later on, after the war ended, Myoko was surrendered over to the Allies, and the ship was too badly damaged, so it was scuttled shortly out from the harbor that it was guarding. So, really sad story for the Myoko, but she was the only ship of her class to survive, and the Myokos were really cool set of cruisers. Before we go ahead and jump into this, I do want to go ahead and give a big thanks to Derek Frost Westbrook for commissioning this build. If you guys are interested in commissioning a build for yourself, definitely feel free to check out my commissioning program and send me an email at garrettbefore@gmail.com, or go ahead and contact me on Discord to get more information about basically commissions and try to commission your own build. But yeah, really cool build. We'll go ahead and dive into it. So Myoko here was kind of the later cruiser design where they basically started incorporating these kind of stacked turrets. I say it was later, but this was launched in 1927, so definitely a pre-World War II ship. However, she was modernized extensively, and the turrets were obviously no exception to that. So we have the 3 turrets here in the front. We then have the conning tower here, which is a very large, very modern looking conning tower compared to how ships are nowadays. Lots of anti-aircraft guns here in the midsection. You also have your secondary guns as well. We have our funnels. Myoko is kind of iconic with her curved forward funnel. We then have the back deck here, which would be for the seaplanes. The modernized version was able to carry 3 seaplanes, and we have our catapults here on both sides, as well as the seaplane tender crane. And we have obviously our masts and all that stuff located up on the top there of the ship. As we progress down here, we have the rear turrets here, and that's pretty much the build. Pretty straightforward stuff. It's a really cool build and will make an awesome addition if you're looking for a really good heavy cruiser to add to your BAFTA build fleets for the Japanese. If we keep building up our Japanese fleet, it's starting to become a pretty impressive fleet at this point in time, and hopefully we'll start to work on some more allied ships to get the allies some love too, but for the time being, enjoy another Japanese heavy cruiser, the Myoko. Alright guys, so moving into our first layer here, we will be going ahead and start with layer 1. For layer 1 to go ahead and get started with here, we're going to be placing down your red nether brick top slab. Now, just a quick little side note here, you want to make sure that we position this correctly, as we will be building another layer on top of this that's going to be submerged. So we want to make sure that this layer here is 1 block beneath the water surface. You can see the blue concrete block there is representing that water level, and we have our red nether brick top slab right underneath it, and that's where we're going to start. We're going to go back from the red nether brick top slab 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, and 31, which should be a total of 32 of these top slabs in total. We then want to go ahead and count back 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and on your 7th top slab from the front, we're going to place down another nether brick top slab at the side, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, like that back. Let me go ahead and double check the count here, and it should be 24. Yep, so 24. And then over here we're going to do the same thing, and we're just going to run these top slabs back until we have the same row as we do on the other side. So that's going to complete both sides there, like so. Then we're going to go ahead and again count back from the front here. We'll grab some blue concrete again for this, or doesn't really matter what block we use, but a little bit easier to tell. We're going to go ahead and go back 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So your 9th slab. We're going to place down a top slab to the side, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. And we'll do the same thing over here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. And it's a total of 12. So again, a total of 12 and 12 on both sides. So after that, we can then delete those blocks, and this is what we should have for the top-down view with this layer all complete. So again, that is going to conclude layer 1, and with that, we'll move on to layer number 2. Moving into our next layer, we have layer number 2. For layer 2 to start with, we're going to place down a red concrete block on top of this top slab, and a red nether brick upside stair going forward from it. We're going to then go back 1, 2, 3, 4 red concrete blocks, then 2 red nether brick walls on both sides, and then 2 red stained glass panes going forward from those like so. We're going to take our red concrete, and we're going to go ahead and continue to go back 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 back from those walls. Same thing over here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We're going to place down red nether brick walls to the sides of these last 2 blocks, and then we're going to place down 3 red stained glass panes forward from those nether brick walls. We're going to take our red concrete, we're going to go back from the nether brick walls 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. And over here, we're going to do the same thing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. And then we're going to take our red nether brick walls. We're going to place down 2 nether brick walls back, a red stained glass pane, 2 nether brick walls, and a red stained glass pane. We're going to go ahead and place down 1, 2, 3 red concrete blocks on the inside of the walls and glass panes. We're going to go ahead and place down 1 more back, so you have a total of 4. And then a red nether brick upside down stair to both sides of a red concrete block in the center in between them. We're going to place down 1 more red concrete block back down the center, 2 red nether brick top slabs, 2 red nether brick walls, and a acacia wood trapdoor here on the end wall like that. We're going to go ahead and place down a end rod, or rather actually a lightning rod coming off these glass panes, and then we're going to go ahead and place down a acacia wood fence gate and open it toward the stair like this to both sides. And then we just want to place down a birch slab coming off the fence gates. We're going to place down another lightning rod on those 2 stairs there, another acacia wood fence gate that's going to be opened up toward these slabs, and a birch wood slab going back from those fence gates like that. And that right there is going to conclude everything we need for layer number 2 of the build. Here is what it should look like from the top-down view. I personally also enjoy to fill in the inside in with my ships. I think it just makes it a little bit better just to have it filled in. I don't know why. It's just me. So I'm going to go and fill this in completely for the build. But again, what we did earlier is the bare minimum that you will need to have this whole inside filled in. Next layer, however, we will be having to fill it all in because we will have the deck we'll be dealing with. With that though, that's going to complete everything we have for layer number 2, and with that, let's move on to layer number 3. Moving on to our next layer, we move on to layer number 3. For layer 3 to start with, we're going to place down a stone block up here in the front, and then we're going to go ahead and go back 1, 2, 3, 4 more stone blocks. We're going to place down light gray stained glass panes off the second and third blocks there, and then 2 more andesite walls back from those glass panes. We then want to place down a row of 1, 2, 3 stone blocks, and 1, 2, 3 stone blocks on both sides. On the first glass pane up here in the front, we're going to place down an item frame to both sides, and then a crossbow in the item frame rotated to face downwards like so. And then we're going to go ahead and place down a line of 2 polished black stone buttons on the side of these 2 stone blocks. And then taking our stripped acacia wood, we're going to place down 1, 2, 3 stripped acacia wood blocks down the center, and then 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So you just kind of fill that in for right now. We're going to take our glass panes. We're going to place down 1, 2, 3, 4. And over here, same thing, 1, 2, 3, 4. We're going to go and then take our andesite walls, and we're going to place down a row of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And then we're going to place down a stone block. Then we're going to go ahead and go back 1, 2, 3 walls, and then there's stone block. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 more walls like that back. Then we want to place down 1, 2, 3 light gray stained glass panes, and we're going to go do the same thing over here on the other side. So again, we have our walls back, our stone block, and then our andesite walls. There's stone block, and our andesite walls back like that, and our 3 glass panes. So again, just like we did on the other side. After we have that done, we're going to go ahead and fill the inside in behind the walls with rows of stripped acacia wood going all the way down the center. And we're going to go ahead and go all the way back, and we're going to stop right before that last glass pane. And we're going to go and do this all the way down and try to make sure that you are placing these blocks all in the same direction. Depending on the orientation that you place the block, it will rotate the top of it. And just to kind of keep things a little bit more consistent and nice deck kind of seamless look, make sure that you have these all facing this way. So just like that, pretty straightforward there. Now on the back here, we're going to go ahead and place down 2 stone blocks on both sides. And then we're going to place down again 2 stripped acacia wood blocks in the center. We're going to go ahead and place down 2 more stripped blocks back. Okay, yes, so I just realized I made a little bit of a mistake. It's pretty easy to fix though. But what we're going to have to do here is we're going to have to delete this andesite wall and place down a glass pane, and then delete this last glass pane on the end there. And we're going to do the same thing over here. Then we're going to go and delete this block, place a stone block here. And then we want to go ahead and then delete this block and place down a wall there. And then we're going to place down a light gray stainless pane to both sides. And this last acacia wood block is actually going to be a stone block with a glass pane to the sides there. So my apologies on that mistake. I just accidentally miscounted how many walls I needed to place. But that is how it should look there on the back, and that stone block should sit on top of that trapdoor. We're going to go ahead and place down an item frame on both sides of this glass pane here. And we're going to place down a crossbow in the item frame, rotated to face downwards again on both sides here. Like so. After that is all done, we then want to go ahead and grab ourselves some levers, and on these stone blocks here, we're going to place down some levers, and then if you're on Java, real quickly I'm going to talk about a little trick we can do here. So we're going to build a block off from the side of this wall, and we're going to go ahead and place down a polished blackstone button. Now what we're going to do here is we're going to go ahead and use our tool called the debug stick. So we'll go ahead and grab that. The command is /give space @p Minecraft :debug _stick. So this is your command. Pressing enter will give you this glowing stick. What we're going to do here is we're going to left click the button, and we're going to go ahead and then right click this, or left click it till we get selected facing. Then we're going to right click this so it actually comes off the side there of that wall. Now basically if you have rolled it like I do, I can actually stack this and have this run all the way along the side here of these walls. Actually extend it just one more. So just like that. So I can extend this all the way along those walls. Now one thing to keep in mind here is that you will have to place down a lever on these stone blocks there, so just make sure you go ahead and do that. Yeah, so just like that we have the buttons in place, and just make sure you have those levers on those stone blocks. Again, that's going to be more of a Java feature to add those buttons, unfortunately, but it is a really nice touch to kind of give that extra little bit of detail there if you have the time. Again, if you don't have World Edit, you'll probably have to do each one of these manually using the same trick we said before. It's going to be a little bit time consuming, but in my opinion, I think the final effect is definitely worth it, having those buttons there and that detail for those portholes all on the side of the ship. Anyways though, that is going to wrap up everything we have for layer number 3, and with that we'll move on to layer number 4. Moving into our next layer, we have layer number 4. For layer 4 to start with, we're going to place down a piston on top of this stone block, and we're going to go ahead and then surround the 3 sides here of the piston with some skeleton skulls. We're going to go ahead and place down 2 slabs back, and then a skeleton skull on both sides there. And we want to go ahead and then place down a skeleton skull on those glass panes. We're also going to place down a dragon head that's going to sit on top of this stone block. And then to the sides of the dragon head, we're going to place down a daylight detector and have that turn to that night mode. We're also going to go ahead and place down daylight detectors on top of these 2 walls, and also in the middle there, like that, going back. We're going to go ahead and then place down an acacia wood trapdoor in the center. And then to the sides of it, we're going to place down a acacia wood pressure plate. We're going to go ahead and place down 2 more pressure plates back on both sides, like so. And after we have those in place, we're going to go ahead and then take our stone stairs. We're going to place down a stone stair here and an upside down stair directly behind it. We'll also go ahead and place down a birchwood sign on both sides of this upside down stair. And we also want to go ahead and grab ourselves a fence gate, and we're going to place down a fence gate here coming off the front of the stair like that. After that, we're going to go ahead and place down 2 andesite walls in this spot here. And we're going to go ahead and then place down a stone upside down stair right here, and then a stone stair like that in front of it. We're going to place down some birchwood signs to the sides of the stairs right here, and we're going to place down a birchwood fence gate and have it opened up toward that stair like that. Also on the front here, just so we don't have to worry about it later, we're going to go ahead and place down a end rod on top of this skull and a iron bar just to go ahead and get that finished off in the front. And if you're on Java, we'll also take our debug stick and we'll go ahead and left click this piston until we get selected extended false, right click that, set that to true, and an alternative to the piston can be just placing down a stone slab. After that's done, we're going to go ahead and then place down a redstone repeater to both sides of this andesite wall here. And then we want to go and go to our andesite walls here on the sides, and we're going to place down 1, 2, 3, 4 of these pressure plates. So just like that. After we have that done, we're going to go ahead and then place down a lever to both sides right here of that fence gate. And if you're on Java, we're also going to place down an item frame underneath the lever to kind of show like a fighting position or like the, little walls to protect the gun crew. After that, we're going to go ahead and then place down a stone block, and then to the sides of the stone block, we're going to place down a light gray stainless pane to both sides. We then want to place down a row of 3 of stone, a second row, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9 rows going down the sides. Now for the side detail, we're going to place down a light gray stainless pane here to both sides, and then we're going to place down 2 andesite walls back from that. You may run into the problem where your buttons actually break. If that's the case, then you'll have to go ahead and replace them, and unfortunately it's going to happen for some of these blocks here. We're going to then place down a upside down stone stair and a light gray stainless pane right here in this section. We're going to go ahead and then place down a white bed like that, and then we're going to place down a acacia wood pressure plate directly behind that white bed. On top of the stone block, we're going to place down another block of stone, then a stone upside down stair, and then we want to place down a stone top slab, and then another stone upside down stair. We're going to go ahead and go to the other side, and we're going to do the same thing. We have a stone upside down stair, light gray stainless pane, a white bed, a acacia wood pressure plate, and then we have a stone full block, a stone upside down stair, top slab, and another upside down stair. And then we're going to place down a stone full block like this to both sides. In this middle space here, we're going to go ahead and grab ourselves some black concrete, and we're going to place down 1, 2, 3 black concrete to close off those gaps there. And then we're going to place down a row of stone down the center here. We then want to go ahead and grab ourselves stripped acacia wood. We're going to place down a row of 3, and again try to keep that the same orientation as your deck from the previous layer. And then we're going to place down a line of 2 andesite walls back, and again we're going to go ahead and place down our stripped acacia wood across the center here. On the sides, we're going to go ahead and also grab ourselves item frames and black beds. We're going to place down item frames on the side here and black beds in the item frames like that, and just rotate them sideways. And then I'm just going to place down a birchwood sign on the side there of those walls. This can be, again, more of a Java thing, and we're going to go ahead and leave that first item frame alone. For my Java players, if you're on other versions, you're going to place down your 2 item frames, but for Java, we'll place down the birchwood sign just on these rear walls. Then we want to place down a light gray stainless pane. That's going to go back on both sides there, and then we're going to place down a stone block to both sides and a stripped acacia wood block in the center. We're going to place down another stone block in the center, a light gray stainless pane to both sides of those stone blocks. Then we're going to place down a stone upside down stair, a second stair coming off the stair, and then we're going to place down a birchwood fence gate coming off the stair like that. After that is all done, we then want to go ahead and place down a line of 2 levers on top of these blocks right here, and we're going to go ahead and place down item frames underneath them if you're on Java. Also, if you're on Java, we're going to go ahead and build a block out to the side here from this wall here. We're going to place down a lever on the side of it, and we're going to left click this lever. We're going to go ahead and go to selected face. We're going to right click this, set this to floor, and it should sit on top of that wall like that for another anti-aircraft gun position. Also, we're going to place down a light gray stainless pane on top of those levers there from the previous layer. I forgot to include those, so just make sure you add those to the sides. Continuing on the back, we're going to go ahead and then place down a stone button that's going to go on the side or on top of these 2 blocks here, and then an acacia wood pressure plate to both sides from that. After that's done, we're going to go ahead and then place down a redstone repeater here in the center, and then we're going to place down a lever to both sides with an item frame underneath the lever like that. We then want to go ahead and place down a stone button in the center here, and we are going to go ahead and then place down a end rod and an iron bar that goes up from that end rod on the very back. And kind of optional as well is to add the rising sun flag on the back here. So we're just going to place down a barrier block coming off this iron bar, and we can place down the flag here. Again, rising sun flag. It's pretty simple, just a white banner, red dot, the X and the cross pre-made, and you have yourself the rising sun banner. Pretty straightforward, and you can add that onto the back of the ship if you want to. But that right there is going to complete that. I'm just trying to make sure I'm not missing anything important here for the ship. Again, unfortunately, you will have to fix your buttons here on the side of the ship if they did get messed up. Fortunately, though, this is the last section where they won't be messed up any further. So if you go ahead and fix them now, you will not have any problems with them in the future. But as you can see, that's what it's going to look like there from the side completed. With that, though, that's going to wrap up everything we have here for this layer, and with that, we'll move on to layer number 5. So, moving on to our next layer, we have layer number 5. For layer 5 to go ahead and get started with here, we're going to place down a stone block on top of this wall here, and an upside-down stair right behind it. We're going to go ahead and take our birchwood signs, we're going to wrap them around these stairs and on all these sides like that. Then, we want to place down a birchwood fence gate coming off the front of the stair like we've been doing, and that's going to complete that turret for now. We're going to go ahead and place down another stone block on top of this, and then a light gray stained glass pane to both sides. We're going to go ahead and then place down a row 3 of stone across, and then we're going to place down a second row of 3. To the side of the first blocks, we're going to place down a birchwood fence gate on both sides and open them up toward the stone block. We're going to go ahead and then also place down a lever on the side of these stone blocks here. We're going to use our debug stick, and we can go ahead and set this face to floor, and then we can use our rotation, so selected facing, and rotate this so it points out to the sides. So, just like that. And then we're going to go ahead and then place down another row of 3 real quick, and we're going to do the same thing with our levers. So again, for my Java players, just go ahead and do this, and again, we're going to rotate them like so. We're going to go then delete those side blocks and place down glass panes in their place. Now, once that's done, we want to go ahead and then place down an additional 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 stone blocks down the center here. And we're going to place down 1 and 2 glass panes going back from the one we already set up. Then we're going to place down a stone brick upside down stair, like so, and a birchwood fence gate coming off of it, as well as a birchwood sign on the side here facing toward the aft of the ship. On the other side here, we're going to go ahead and place down another stone upside down stair, birchwood fence gate, and a birchwood sign on the side of that fence gate, or the side of the stair. We're going to place down a stone brick upside down stair in the midship right here, and then we want to go ahead and place down a iron bar going back from it, and then a birchwood fence post like that. If you are on Java, we can go ahead and go to the iron bar. We can actually extend the sides like this so they go front and back. This is kind of the preferred look here because this is what we're trying to replicate something in particular. But you can kind of extend that there using the debug stick manually just to kind of make it look a little bit nicer. But again, if you don't have access to that, just go ahead and use what you did. We're going to go then place down a stone brick full block here, and then to the sides of that full block, we're going to place down a cobweb to both sides. We also want to go ahead and place down a line of 2 of acacia wood pressure plates to the sides there, and then in this middle space, we're actually going to go ahead and swap that stone block out for a stripped acacia wood block. So it should look just like that there. After that's done, we're going to go ahead and then place down a stone brick upside down stair to the sides here, leaving that middle space open like that. We're also going to place down another stone brick upside down stair that's going to be on top of this glass pane, and a birchwood fence gate coming off of it, as well as a birchwood sign on both sides of the stair like that. And we're going to go and do the same thing over here on this side as well. So just like that. Then we want to go ahead and place down 2 stone blocks here in the center, and then to the sides we're going to place down andesite walls like that. We're also going to go ahead and place down white beds coming off the front of the walls. And then we want to go ahead and grab our acacia wood pressure plates, and we're going to place down a row of 5 across, a second row of 5, and then a third row, and then one more to each side. like that. And we're also going to go ahead and take our daylight detector. We're going to place it down on top of this glass pane. One more back and 2 more forward. And we're going to go and then turn these to the night mode for our catapults. And same thing will be done over here on this side as well. So just like that. And then underneath here, we're going to place down a lever on this forward one. And unfortunately, if you're on Bedrock, you're not able to place down a lever on this back one. However, for my Java players, we can go ahead and do that because we can place down levers and item frames in the same block space. So again, Java, we can put the lever on the back. Bedrock cannot, but all versions, you can put the lever there on the front. After that's done, we're going to go ahead and place down a stone stair on top of this stone block here, and a stone upside down stair directly behind it. We're going to place down a birchwood sign to both sides of the stone stair, and then a birchwood fence gate coming off the front of the stair, just like that. And once we have that all done, that is going to wrap up everything we have for this layer, layer number 5. Here again is a top-down view of what it should look like so far. With that, we'll be moving into our next layer, which will be layer number 6. Moving into our next layer, we have layer number 6. For layer 6 to go ahead and get started with here, we're going to place down a cobweb on top of this stair, followed by a birchwood fence gate, and open this up toward the rear. And then we're going to place down a end rod to both sides of that fence gate like so. Right behind this, we're going to place down a daylight detector, and then we're going to place down a flower pot to both sides. So it'll look something like this here for the front. We're going to go ahead and place down a stone block that's going to sit right here. And then to the sides of the stone block, we're going to go ahead and place down a skeleton skull. And then we want to place down an additional 1, 2, and 3 stone blocks back. We're going to place down an andesite wall to both sides of the second one, followed by a piston on both sides, and then we want to place down a stone brick stair like this to both sides of that stone block there. We're going to go ahead and place down a stone brick stair here, which is going to be followed with a stone top slab and then a stone brick full block for the start of our funnel. And we're also going to place down a birchwood fence gate on both sides of the stair and open it up toward that stair like that. After that's done, we're going to place down another birchwood fence gate here after that stone brick full block and have that opened up toward the rear. We also want to go ahead and place down a lever on top of these stone brick upside down stairs, and we're going to then place down a item frame underneath it if you're on Java. Also, up here on the fronts, we want to go ahead and place down a lever that's going to be on the sides here of the fence gate, so there's a block space from this wall, a lever on the inside here, and we're going to use our debug stick here, selected face wall, and we're going to go ahead and set this to floor on both sides, and you get this anti-aircraft gun here for my Java players, and then an item frame underneath it like that. Once we have that done, we're going to go ahead and continue on with placing down a redstone repeater right here in the middle, separate the notches from each other like so, and then a skeleton skull on top of these fence posts. We're going to place down another stone brick block right here, and then to the sides coming off that stone brick block, we're going to place down a stone brick wall. Continuing on, we're going to place down a birchwood fence gate that's going to sit over this middle space like that and open it up toward the rear of the ship. And then a lever on top of these 2 stone brick upside down stairs with an item frame underneath it, just like that. We then want to go ahead and place down a anvil going back from that fence gate, and then a skeleton skull there coming off the front there. Then once that's done, going back to our rear turret, we're going to place down a stack of 1, 2 cobwebs up, a birchwood fence gate, open that toward the front, and then an end rod to the sides there of that fence gate. And we also want to go ahead and grab ourselves a daylight detector. We're going to place it on the stone stair here, and then a flower pot to both sides of it like that for the rear turret. And once that's all complete there, that's going to wrap up everything we have here for layer number 6 of the build. Here again is a top-down view of what that should look like so far, and your ship's really starting to come together at this point. So with that, we'll be going ahead and moving into our next layer, which will be layer number 7. Moving into our next layer, we have layer number 7. For layer 7 to get started with here, we're going to place down a smoker on top of this stone block here, and then a skeleton skull to both sides of the smoker. Once we have that done, we're going to go ahead and then place down 2 stone blocks back, and then 2 light gray stainless panes on the sides of those stone blocks. We're going to go ahead and then place down a birchwood fence gate. That's going to be right here coming off this stone block. And then to the sides of the fence gate, we're going to go ahead and place down a iron trapdoor like this to both sides. We're going to go ahead and also place down an iron trapdoor on top of those fence gates there. And coming off those fence gates, coming off those iron trapdoors, we're going to go ahead and place down a item frame and a snowball in it, just like that. And we're going to go ahead and go over to the other side here and do the same thing. Item frame and a snowball, like so. We're going to go ahead and place down 2 stone brick blocks here, and then a iron trapdoor and a item frame to both sides of it, as well as a snowball in those item frames, like that. After that's all done, we're going to go ahead and place down a stone brick full block here, and then we want to place down another brick fence post on top of the anvil, a fence gate coming off the fence post opened up toward it, and then we want to place down 1, 2, 3, 4 end rods like that, and then we're going to place down a skeleton skull on the very tip there. After you have that all done, that is going to conclude everything we have for that layer, and with that we'll be going ahead and moving on to our next. Moving into our next layer, we have layer number 8. For layer 8 to go ahead and get started with here, we're going to go ahead and place down a stone brick slab on top of this smoker here, and then we're going to place down a birchwood slab on this lean edge side, and then a skeleton skull to both sides there, like that. We're going to go ahead and place down a gray shulker box right here, and then another skeleton skull at a slight angle just behind it, kind of again wrapping around in kind of a circular shape there. Then we're going to place down a andesite wall here and another skeleton skull to the sides there on those glass panes. After that is done, we're going to go ahead and then place down a birchwood fence gate here, and we're going to open this up toward the back of the ship, followed by a flower pot to both sides, like that. We then want to place down a polished blackstone slab here, and then a black carpet, and then a birchwood sign coming off this sign here, and also there should have been a birchwood sign coming off this sign down here on the bottom as well. Once we have that done, we're going to go ahead and place down a polished blackstone slab on top of this block here, another brick or a dark oak wood fence gate on top of this post, and then a open up the fence gate toward the front of the ship, and then we're going to place down a dark oak wood sign on the side of this fence gate, like that. Once we have that all done, that is going to wrap up everything we have for layer 7, and with that we'll move into our last final layers. Moving into our last final layers here, we have layers 9, 10, 11, 12, and 13. So with these layers, to get started with, we're going to place down a stone brick slab on top of the shulker box, followed by an andesite wall here, and a skeleton skull to both sides of that wall. We're going to go ahead and also place down a birchwood fence gate on top of this one, open this up toward the back, and we then want to go ahead and place down a placeholder block right here, then a lever coming off that block, and we're going to use our debug stick, which we can go ahead and retrieve again, use the same command we used earlier. We're going to rotate this around and have that come off that fence gate. So it's going to look like that there. If you're not on Java, you can go ahead and put a skeleton skull coming off that fence gate as an alternative, but that's what we're going to do there. We're going to go ahead and place down a fence gate on top of this one. We're going to have this one opened up toward the front, and then a birchwood fence gate coming off of it, just like that. Then on the back here, we're going to place down a stack of end rods. Now we're going to go up by 2 with a flower pot on top, and we're also going to place down a lever coming off an end rod coming off this fence gate here to both sides as well. On the very top here, we want to go ahead and grab our iron bars, and we're going to place down a row of iron bars out to the sides there, just like that, as well as a end rod that's going to come off those blocks like that. On the back here, for our rear mast, we're going to go ahead and place down a dark oak wood fence gate on top of this one, open that up toward the front, and then a dark oak wood sign coming off that side toward the front there. We're going to go ahead and place down a polished blackstone upside down stair. That's going to go on top of this space here. And we're going to go ahead and then place down a wither skeleton skull going forward from the stair like that. After that is all done, we want to go ahead and then place down a polished blackstone wall here, a cobweb, and then we're going to go up 2 end rods, and then a block out to the side from this top end rod, and then 1 end rod going off those blocks toward the rear, and then we'll delete those full blocks. So this right here is what it should look like for the basis. We'll also take our debug stick and we will right click this piston here, again for my Java players. But at this point in time, what we have left to do here is going to be all of the rigging that we have to go ahead and get set up. So for this to get started with, we're going to place down a barrier block on these 2 end rods, and barrier blocks can be obtained on Java by typing the command /give @p. and we can just type in barrier, and it should pop up. And in that command there, you press enter, you should get a barrier block. They're also known as structure blocks on bedrock. So if you are on bedrock, you can go ahead and just pick up a structure block. However, you have to do that, and we're going to be using these for the cabling. Now from this, we're going to go up from this barrier block 1 and 2 back like this, and then we want to go ahead and go up another one. So we're going to go up again, out to the side and back with one more barrier block. And then we're going to go ahead and go up from this one, and we're going to go ahead and go back 2, and then we have 1. So it's going to look like that there for that line, and we're going to do the same thing over here on this side. So we have our 2, we have the 1, and we have the 2 again, and an air barrier block. So it's going to look just like that. We then want to place down a stone button on top of these 2 barrier blocks here, a button on the side of these 2 blocks, and a button again on top of these barrier blocks like that. Then after that, we're going to place down a button on top of these ones right here. And then we're going to place down a button on the side of these blocks. And then a button on top of these ones. And then a button again on the side of these blocks. So it's going to look just like that to form that cabling like that for the forward section. For the rear section, to go ahead and do this, what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and place down 2 barrier blocks. So 1, 2, going back from each of these end rods. We then want to go ahead and go up and toward the middle, and we're going to go back 3. And same thing over here on this side. Just like that. Then we're going to go ahead and place down 2 coming off these end rods, just like that. We then want to place down 2 buttons here on the top of these blocks, a button here on the side, or we're going to place down 2 buttons on the side here, and then 1 more on top. For some reason, these are not wanting to load for whatever reason. So give me a sec here. And there we go. For some reason, I don't know why those buttons weren't showing up, but we have our 2 buttons here on the top of those 2 barrier blocks on the side of these 2, and then 1 on top here. And then for our last section here, we're going to place down a button on the bottom of this one, and then 1 right here. And then over on the other side, we're going to go ahead and set up the same thing. So button on the side there, bottom, then top. 2 on the sides and 2 on the top there to go ahead and finish it off. And that's going to complete that section there. Then we want to go ahead and take our barrier blocks. We're going to go ahead and place down 1 coming off this cobweb. And we're going to go ahead and go down at a vertical line like that. And we're going to place down buttons on each side of those barrier blocks. Then we want to go ahead and place down a barrier block forward of this one. And then up 1 more. And then back 1. So like that. We're going to place down a button on both sides of this barrier block here. And then a button on the side of this one. And then a button on both sides of this top one there. So that's going to complete the cabling there in the midsection. And then the cabling on the back here is the last thing we have to do. We're going to go ahead and go off these end rods with a barrier block. And we're going to go ahead and then drop these down at an angle. Going down. Like so, and that's going to form that line, so it's just a straight diagonal line. And then again, we're going to place the buttons on the outside of those barrier blocks like that, and same thing over here like so. Then we want to go ahead and also place down a barrier block on top of this end rod here. We're going to go ahead and go up from this at an angle and keep it at an angle all the way up to connect up to that wall there. And then we're going to place down buttons on the side of those barrier blocks like that. And then going on the back here, we're going to place down a barrier block, or 2 barrier blocks going back. We're going to drop down, do another row of 2, drop down again another row of 2, and then 1 right here on the end. We're going to place down a button on the side, or on top, side, top, side, top, side, and top, going all the way up. And you can do it on both sides like that, going all the way down to connect up to that iron bar. But once you have that all complete there, that is going to wrap up everything we have for the rigging. And with that, that's going to wrap up everything that we have for our final layers. With that, though, that's going to wrap up our build entirely and all that. Hopefully you guys do enjoy this tutorial here for the IJN Myoko. If you do end up using this build, I do ask that you guys give me proper credit for it. This will be linked from the sign on the build to link to my channel or this video if this does appear in social media sites. As long as you guys give me proper credit for the build, you're free to use it for projects you guys are working on. Again, a big thanks to Derek Frost Westbrook for commissioning this build, and if you guys are interested in commissioning a build for yourselves, definitely feel free to shoot me an email at garrett2x4@gmail.com or contact me via Discord. With that though, thank you guys again so much for watching. As always, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. This has been Garrett2x4, and I'll see you guys next time.